Seasoned chart analysts with solid track records are standing firm. This market isn't done yet, and if they're wrong, that would be a first. Think about it. This time would have to break the mold entirely. A host of metrics, from the behavior of long-term Bitcoin holders and whales, the so-called smart money, to current Bitcoin dominance, all point to a continuation. Where's the euphoric alt season blow-off we always see at the end of each cycle? It hasn't happened. Tired of fake gurus who claim to be expert traders but never trade live? I trade live on the second largest crypto exchange, where everything is transparent and results can't be faked. For over 440 days, I've consistently closed every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have seen over 70% profit with only 4% drawdown. Verified results, not empty claims. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in my profile and start copying my trades for free today. If this market were truly finished, it would defy everything we've come to expect. Personally, I don't think this time is any different. But here's the thing. Whether or not we've hit the absolute bottom, there's a strong case to be made that the scariest part is behind us. Even if there's a bit more turbulence ahead, the worst may already be in the rearview mirror. In the first part of this video, I'll explain why I believe that's the case. Plus, I'll share insights from XRP chart analysts who nailed this cycle's breakout. And guess what? They're all saying the same thing. This ride isn't over yet. They're not changing their minds because, to them, it doesn't add up logically to believe, oh, that's it, game over. In fact, one well-known chart analyst claims this rally isn't finished until XRP flips Ethereum. Yes, that's an exact quote. And honestly, there's historic precedent for it. I wouldn't be shocked if he's right, and we eventually see XRP sitting in that coveted number 2 spot by market cap. Before we dive deeper, let me make one thing clear. I'm not a financial expert. This is not financial advice. Please don't buy or sell anything based on what I say or write. I'm just a crypto enthusiast who loves making videos for fun. This is purely a hobby. As of now, it's 11:45 p.m. Central Time, Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. XRP is sitting at $2.22. And Bitcoin, a staggering $83,380. Yet it's been another typical 24-hour period of sideways movement, more or less. When you look at XRP's 24-hour chart and then flip to Bitcoin's, they're eerily similar. The whole crypto market is moving hand in hand right now. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just another day in the roller coaster world of digital assets. Take a look at this. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, there's reason to believe the scariest, least fun part of this ride might actually be behind us. Right now, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index sits at 45 out of 100. Technically, that's still fear, but let's zoom out for a second. If you look at 1 year's worth of data, literally what's on your screen, you'll notice the bottom hit on February 27th, just a couple of weeks ago. Back then, we were sitting at a bleak 10 out of 100. That's extreme fear, the lowest point we've seen in the past 12 months. And yet think back to all the excitement last year. After the election hype, we hit extreme greed at 94 out of 100 on November 22nd. But it all came crashing down to 10. Wild, right? Here's the thing. At some unknown point, we're going to climb back into extreme greed. I'd bet it happens before we officially tumble into a bear market. So if you're still here, pat yourself on the back. You made it through the worst of it, or at least most of it. Sure, some analysts suggest there could be another dip ahead, but many agree the hardest part is likely behind us. Hang in there. Brighter days may not be as far off as they seem. Here's the buzz from Cointelegraph that everyone's talking about today. US CPI numbers are in, and they're lower than expected. The big question? Are rate cuts on the horizon? That's the story making waves. Let's break it down. The latest US Core Consumer Price Index, CPI, which measures inflation, came in at 3.1%. Slightly beating the 3.2% forecast. Headline inflation also dipped by 0.1%. According to Matt Mina, a crypto strategist at 21 Shares, this cooling inflation adds to the chances that the Federal Reserve might cut rates this year. And there you have it. That's the narrative. But let me be honest, I couldn't care less. Sure, markets love to overreact to these scheduled news drops like clockwork. A 0.1% shift? People are losing their minds over it. It's absurd. Yes, markets will dance to the rhythm of such headlines, sparking short-term volatility. But big picture, this is noise. It's not game-changing. Take a breath, zoom out, and remember, these tiny blips don't move the needle in the long run. Some people are trained to react on days like this, but what truly fuels these cycles? Let's get real. There are a lot of moving parts, sure, but the key driver here is global liquidity. That's the one thing you need to watch. The correlation is undeniable. It's been too strong for too long to ignore. Forget the hype around Bitcoin halving or any of those tired narratives people cling to. It's not that. It's all about liquidity. In the short term, fear and excitement might shift sentiment, but it all evens out in the end. This isn't rocket science. It's global liquidity or nothing. So here's my take. We're heading up. There are plenty of reasons to back this up. Check out this post from chart handles Jack for more proof. He shared this with his 150,000 followers on X, a Bitcoin USD chart, with a simple yet powerful message. Zoom out. What we're seeing is the perfect anticipated higher time frame retest of a 4-year-long ascending channel that broke to the upside until proven otherwise. Despite this, fear is at an all-time high, with some predicting $40,000 or even $20,000 for Bitcoin, which would completely dismantle the macro structure. Sure, we might dip further into current support, but let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. Bitcoin's recent drop isn't due to any fundamental flaw. It's tied to broader market risk unwinding. When that risk fades, the trend, undeniably bullish on higher timeframes, is likely to continue. And here's the kicker. It's true. While it may not be shocking or controversial, all the recent tariff news is shaking markets and stirring fear among participants. We're not fully in risk-off mode yet, but the jitters are real, and the market is reacting accordingly. As he points out, once the excitement fades, what do you think happens next? Do you believe people will stay in the same mindset forever, acting the same way? Of course not. Markets are driven by behavior, and behavior always shifts. The key takeaway, and the one I'll keep emphasizing, is this. Over time, both the stock market and the crypto space are only going to grow. The pies are getting bigger, and the longer you wait, the more money will flow into these arenas, far beyond what we see today. Here's the kicker. Crypto offers a unique edge. Why? Because there's so much less money in it right now compared to traditional markets. It doesn't take massive inflows to create jaw-dropping returns. That's why people entering crypto now, even as complete beginners, have a massive chance to build significant wealth over the next few years. Whether it takes 5, 10, or even more years, the sheer potential here is undeniable. Those who diversify wisely and commit enough capital are positioning themselves to ride this wave, and they just might be the ones telling their success stories in the future. Patience pays off in the markets, especially when emotions run high. If you stay calm and avoid selling during moments of panic, that's the key to success. The opportunity is still very much alive here. And here's the good news. You're not waiting another decade for it to play out. Many of you have already been in the game for years. We're heading for that blow off top, unless this time really is different, which honestly seems highly unlikely. Sure, nothing's impossible, but I'd say the odds of it being different are slim to none. Jack's absolutely nailing it right now. Zoom out, take a breath, and stop freaking out. Oh, and let's not forget, XRP is flexing some serious strength while all of this is unfolding. Speaking of strength, here's an interesting tidbit from on-chain analytics firm Sentiment. Tether's activity is surging, with over 143,000 wallets making transfers yesterday alone, a 6-month high. When stablecoin activity like USDT spikes during price dips, it's a clear signal traders are gearing up to buy. Increased buying pressure fuels crypto price recoveries, an intriguing data point, don't you think? Analysts often refer to this as dry powder. It's sidelined capital, just sitting and waiting to be deployed into the market. So, if there's a significant flow into stablecoins, ask yourself, what's the next move? If people were cashing out, that money would leave the crypto space entirely. But when it's parked in stablecoins, what's the plan? Why do people buy them in the first place? That's why Sentiment points this out. History shows that when stablecoin reserves grow, the market often follows with upward momentum. It's another clue worth noting. Speaking of clues, check out this observation from chart analyst Mustache to your Bitcoin. The last time the RSI, Relative Strength Index, on the S&P 500 hit these lows, Bitcoin surged over 300%. Right now, both assets are touching crucial trend lines. So why not feel a little bullish? Just look at the S&P 500, bottom, and Bitcoin, top. The October 2023 RSI for both shows oversold conditions. Historically, oversold markets bounce back, and we're in the same territory today. See the RSI down there? That's oversold territory, signaling potential reversal. It's a familiar scenario. Markets figure it out, and prices correct upward. I remember this setup before, back at a local low, and I bought heavily. Prices skyrocketed soon after. The game isn't over yet, but enough about Bitcoin and the S&P, let's turn our focus to XRP. How about that? Let's talk Ethereum for a second because I was diving into a few things, and let's just say the plot thickens. Take a look at this gem from chart analyst Dom, one of the many sharp minds I follow. He's the guy who nailed the prediction that XRP would break out this cycle, despite the doubters swearing it wouldn't. Well, here we are, and guess what? Dom says the XRP run isn't over yet. Not until it flips Ethereum. Bold, right? But hey, I don't make the rules. As of his latest update, XRP is inching closer, now just 3.65% away from flipping Ethereum. Well, technically 3.67% based on the numbers right here on the screen. This morning, XRP dominance was sitting at 4.94%. Now, let me jog your memory. I've been pointing out XRP's climb since it was stuck around 1%. And I said, guys, look at this. This is what happens when the market bottoms out. Go back to 2021 if you need proof. Same story. The market doesn't stay down forever. Historical patterns, folks. The market, like clockwork, knows when something's been oversold or overbought. When dominance is too high or too low, it always finds a way to adjust. So, no surprises here. And now, over in Ethereum's corner, we're seeing it slide down. Honestly, you love to see it. If you're an XRP holder, you know there's historic precedent for going toe-to-toe with Ethereum for that number 2 spot. XRP has claimed the second largest market cap multiple times in the past. Honestly, I'd be shocked if it never happened again. If someone could show me the next 100 years and prove XRP never made it back to number 2, I'd be scratching my head, wondering what went so wrong. It just doesn't seem likely. Not with the trajectory we're seeing now. Look at the current standings. They're closer than ever. XRP is flexing its strength right now, and the market is clearly treating it differently than other coins. Sure, Ethereum might still make a significant move up, and maybe there's even a brief moment this cycle where ETH outpaces XRP. But I don't think that dynamic will last, because when XRP moves, wow, it moves. We're talking full-on face-melting surges. That's just what XRP does. Historically, it spends a lot of time going sideways or even dipping, but when the rip comes, holders are rewarded in a big way. That's the essence of being an XRP investor. It's the calm before the storm, and when it hits, it's unforgettable. When XRP makes its next big move, I think it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing, because that's just how it's always been. History has shown us time and time again how this unfolds, and there's no reason to believe it'll be any different now. The market hasn't changed its behavior, so why should the outcome? It just doesn't add up to think otherwise. Let me share some insights from chart analyst Dom, who's been tracking XRP closely. He posted a take on March 4th, and I've got an exciting update for you from this morning. Back on March 4th, Dom shared a chart and noted something huge. XRP is attempting to break through its biggest resistance level ever against Ethereum. Historically, when price breaks this zone, it goes parabolic, with past moves printing at least a 160% surge. Even if it only achieves half of that, XRP could flip Ethereum. Alerts are set for a confirmed breakout. I've been saying for a while, XRP doesn't need much more money flowing in to secure that number 2 spot. Sure, the entire market could rally at once, and Ethereum might run alongside it, making the battle for number 2 more intense. But that doesn't mean the gap can't close, or that XRP won't eventually take the lead. Now here's the fresh update from Dom this morning. He shared an updated XRP/ETH chart, pointing out that XRP is still trying to break through that final resistance level against Ethereum. Historically, this is the point where XRP takes off like a rocket. What's interesting this time, though, is that it's partly due to Ethereum showing some weakness while XRP manages to stay strong. Whether or not those two lines break completely, something is bound to happen, and that's a fact. It's fair to highlight that. Ethereum's been struggling lately, no doubt about it, but I still believe the market as a whole will bounce back. Unless every analyst calling for one last parabolic surge is completely off base, that's exactly where we're headed. Just like you, I'm along for the ride. I'm no different than anyone else. I'm not special just because I have a YouTube channel. I'm just another guy on the internet, fascinated by this stuff. Probably the same way you are if you're tuning in here. You don't need to be an expert to grasp some basic market principles. What I'm sharing is what history has shown us time and time again. And to be clear, I'm not a technical analyst. I'm not trying to be one. But I've noticed something that's hard to ignore. Markets tend to correct themselves when value gaps become too wide. I mentioned earlier, markets figure this stuff out eventually. Ethereum's been taking hit after hit, but its time will come. Historically, that's often what kickstarts an alt season. I wouldn't be shocked if this pattern repeats itself. Now, the notion that Ethereum will just keep sinking endlessly is the same pessimistic talk we heard about XRP. People tend to assume the current trajectory will continue forever, and it's such a flawed mindset. Humans are wired to think, if it's falling now, it'll always fall, or if it's rising, it'll rise forever. It's ridiculous, but so common. So I ask, what has fundamentally changed with Ethereum? For nearly a decade, the world has agreed that Ethereum has a role to play. Why would that suddenly shift now? What's happened lately to make it less valuable than it was a year ago? The answer is nothing. That's the point I'm making. It's not about whether Ethereum is perfect on a fundamental level. It's that the market has collectively decided to back it for years. So why would it crumble now? The same argument applies to XRP. People said, oh, it's just bleeding against Bitcoin. It's done. Yet history shows us that's often when a turnaround begins. And sure enough, when it happens, it goes. It's the same story. People are throwing a fit about Ethereum right now, but so what? They'll get caught off guard too. The market will hit a bottom eventually, and when it does, it's going to take off. Will it happen tomorrow? Next month? Who knows? Unless we dive into a full-blown bear market, that's the cycle you can expect. Chart analyst Sistine Research seems to agree. He posted an XRP versus Ethereum chart earlier today, saying XRP is about to flip Ethereum again. His analysis highlights the fully diluted value, which is critical, but most people care about circulating supply, since that determines market cap. Simply multiply circulating supply by the current market price. It's the metric that matters most. And honestly, the XRP versus Ethereum rivalry feels inevitable. If you followed these two for a while, you know it's only a matter of time before we see that battle heat up again. Another chart analyst, Mikey Bull Crypto, shared his thoughts recently. He pointed out a bullish divergence on Ethereum's daily chart and said, "Smells like a bottom to me." This kind of sentiment always pops up near market bottoms. Retail investors are panicking, saying Ethereum will keep dropping endlessly. And maybe they're right. Maybe this isn't the bottom yet. But these emotions, they're classic signs of a turning point. And Mikey didn't stop there. He also highlighted XRP's chart, noting it's showing strength even in the middle of the sell-off. With a daily bullish divergence, he believes XRP is primed for a massive rally once the market recovers. If history's taught us anything, it's that moments like this often lead to explosive moves. Here's another analyst I follow, and trust me, he's absolutely convinced we're not done yet, folks. According to him, things are about to go completely bananas in the crypto world. Case in point, Crypto Insight UK just shared an XRP/USD chart, noting that XRP is pushing to break out of its recent downtrend. Fingers crossed he's right. Lately, analysts seem more optimistic about the short term, and I share their cautious optimism. If the lows aren't already in, they're probably close. Let's hope they're spot on. Time will tell. But the real intrigue lies ahead. What about the midterm, the big picture? Are they onto something there? I'm still betting yes. For instance, chart analyst Greg Crypto recently posted about XRP's Relative Strength Index RSI. Each data point on his chart represents a full week, giving a broader perspective. He points out that if the weekly RSI crosses 71.50, we could see XRP explode. Right now, XRP's RSI is building momentum from 60. If it sustains this climb, it could easily push past 80. But first, it needs to close above 71.50, something worth watching. I truly believe he didn't mean anything out of line there. It's clear he's referencing the RSI level. An interesting point to note is when he mentioned kaboom alongside 71.50. Someone even asked him, "What exactly does kaboom mean to you?" His answer? 2 digits. It's clear he's talking about XRP potentially hitting double-digit territory, $10 or more. And honestly, I hope he's right. A lot of people are banking on XRP reaching at least $10 this cycle. Anything less, and plenty of folks will be disappointed. I'd bet on it. On another note, chart analyst Javad Marks pointed out something fascinating. XRP's momentum oscillator, the Relative Strength Index, RSI, is approaching a major breakout pattern. The last time something like this happened, XRP saw a jaw-dropping 500% price surge. Could we see history repeat itself? This 2-day chart suggests another massive bullish move might be on the horizon. Here's the thing. All the analysts I've featured in this discussion remain optimistic about XRP's upward trajectory. Not one has shifted their outlook, even with the recent market jitters. Sure, global factors like tariffs have shaken markets, but that's just noise in the bigger picture. Pullbacks are inevitable, even in bull markets. The reasons may vary, but the fundamentals remain solid. Whether it's external forces or just natural market cycles, the core truths about XRP's potential don't change. I, for one, don't believe we're anywhere near done here. I don't think the profit-taking phase is over yet. Here's the thing. When enough people start cashing out of Bitcoin, you'll see its dominance drop. That's when altcoins begin their run because, let's face it, people aren't done chasing the next big gamble. They'll funnel those Bitcoin profits into other assets, and that's when altcoins really take off. It's like a signal that we're deep into the cycle. When that shift happens, well, that's when we're nearing the end. But here's the kicker. It hasn't happened yet, not even close. And that's why I'm still incredibly excited about what's to come. I can't say I'm 100% right, but I feel pretty damn confident. Honestly, I don't have much doubt about it. If I'm wrong, well then I'll own it. I'll suck it up, Buttercup. Being wrong is part of the game, and I've been there. But I don't think that's the case here. Not at all. You tell me what you think, but my money's on this. Market momentum driving XRP into a face-melting rally, breaking into price discovery, maybe even flipping ETH. That's my gut feeling. Would it shock me to see it? Not one bit. But hey, these are just my thoughts. Let's hear yours. Oh, and one more thing. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't buy or sell anything based on what I say here. Seriously, that would be a terrible idea. Always do your research.